everyone. On a Football Friday, the biggest in the history of Pony and Muller, we are here for you today to discuss one of the greatest moments in Pittsburgh sports history. Kenny Pickett, one of the best players in Pitt football history, now the next Steelers quarterback. Let's go! Here we go, Kenny! Come on, boys! Woo! This is in the conversation. This is up there as one of the best things that's ever happened to me, Chris.
To you. You're making this about you.
Well, would you agree?
I think it is awesome.
Thank you.
That they drafted Kenny Pickett.
Donnie, how you feeling today on a Friday, on a Football Friday?
Try to match his level, Donnie.
I'm pretty happy.
You and Pony.
You can hear a little bit of my voice. I lost it a little bit.
Yeah, and you went viral again. A video of you at a local establishment that you and the rest of the Nasty Boys rented out has gone viral to the tune of hundreds of thousands of views.
Yep.
People in Steelers garb and Pitt garb alike going nuts when Franco Harris, author of the most famous play in NFL history, didn't say Ken something other. When the Saints said Kenyon Green, Franco followed him with Kenny Pickett and Pony danced like Elaine Bennis on Seinfeld.
I'll be honest, whenever Kenyon Green got picked,
there was a big
everybody's heart just
dropped for a moment.
Whenever they heard Ken.
You know why mine didn't? Because I was subscribed to everybody's favorite pick expert, Doran Dickerson, who was getting him 3 minutes early from one of his moles at the draft.
I loved that Franco Harris put his Penn State allegiance to the side and celebrated a great Pitt man coming to the Steelers. It was not forced. It was not artificial. His enthusiasm and passion for the pick rivaled mine. It wasn't as good, but it was close.
When did you realize that it was actually going to happen? When did you think it was actually going to happen? The minute he said it? Because here's what happened with me.
I still sat there thinking it was going to be Malik Willis and that my heart was going to be broken and I was going to
come on the air raging
damage my man cave and break things, and Amanda was going to get very upset at me. But instead, it turned into one of the best nights of my life.
I did not think it was going to happen, Pony. It was a stunning surprise until I saw, because I was listening to our excellent draft coverage last night. Doran and Paul Zeiss and Crowley, they were doing a hell of a job. And I'm scrolling through Twitter, I'm listening to them, and then I saw Pitt Football, the official account, just tweet the eyeball emojis when the Steelers had just gotten on the clock.
Oh, really?
And a picture of Kenny Pickett on the phone, and it just said H2P to like NFL draft. And I think my internal response was, holy bleep, it is actually happening.
Yeah.
And then Johnny McGonigal had the picture and said Kenny Pickett is a Steeler, and I was like stunned.
I think it seemed or it felt like it was too good to be true, that the stars weren't going to align, that everything wasn't going to come together, and worse yet, it was going to be a situation like 39 years ago where the Pitt quarterback was there for the taking and the Steelers elected to do something else. I'm so happy that they didn't make the same mistake twice. The organization learned its lesson. Kevin Colbert, a longtime Steelers fan, Art Rooney, knew his dad regretted passing on Marino, and Mike Tomlin, he saw qualities and things about Kenny Pickett that he liked, and he wants to win with him right away. I think this ushers in a new era of Steelers winning football. I don't think we have to wait. I don't think we have to hope. I don't think we have to wonder about Malik Willis guy. Is he ever going to be good? When is he going to play? Kenny's going to come in right from day one, and he's going to manage the game well. I think he's going to get asked to do what Ben did early in his career. We're not going to ask you to be the star. We're not going to ask you to be the center of attention. Go out there. You're wise beyond your years. You're a veteran quarterback. You've started 1 million games in college, and just don't screw it up. And I'm very confident in his ability to do that. And from there, he can grow and continue to get better. And maybe eventually, third or fourth year in the league, he is the guy that carries the team. I don't rule that out. I don't doubt that. But I can tell you what he won't be, Chris. He won't suck, and he won't be a bust. He won't be from the Artie Burns, Jarvis Jones list of Steelers, guys that blew it. He is going to be a competent NFL quarterback from day one. I don't have any reservations about that, and I don't know how anybody could think that he's going to come in and just absolutely blow ass. We've already seen him at Pitt at Heinz Field. There's a comfortability and a familiarity there. So I'm just ecstatic, and I think most Steelers fans should get on board. Let's not hate this guy. Let's embrace him. and let's soak in the
who's
great
hating
moment.
the guy?
Oh, a lot of people are. There's a lot of that out there.
Are they the draft obsessive types?
No, there are just people out there that say ridiculous things to me like, I would have taken a corner at 20. Ah, yes, because the Steelers have such an incredible history of mining corners in the draft and finding guys. Like, this is going to set the franchise back taking Kenny Pickett, but would have really had them full throttle, all systems go, is taking like the third best corner in the draft. Ooh, doggy, that would have really been a page turner and something that got the Steelers headed in the right direction. That is a very strange hill to die on, and I think some Steelers media and some Steelers fans are doing a little bit of that today. But we'll let the people speak their mind at 412-928-9370, Chris. I don't want to put words in our incredible listeners' mouths today. They're allowed to speak and tell us what they think. 412-928-9370. You were saying.
I mean, the best success the Steelers ever had with Ben Roethlisberger in terms of winning titles, which is what matters here, was on his first contract. His first 5 years, there were 2 titles. When Ben Roethlisberger, especially in that second title run, he did it in the playoffs in both of them, let the defense do their job, managed a lot of games, made big plays, which we've seen Pickett have a knack for doing, including out of the pocket the way Ben did. And then when the chips were on the table, when it was winning time, he would bring the goods. And I think we saw Kenny Pickett do that. Well, I think we saw Kenny Pickett do it at Pitt. You know, I've heard people talk. Johnny McGonigal, who was there in Jersey at the draft party, talked about, and he knows Pickett probably better than any reporter, covered him basically all this time at Pitt. And he said, like, hey, the guy deals with pressure really well. He understands, like, everything. He went through adversity at Pitt when it didn't go well in 2018, and he had people calling for his job. And so I think he's going to know how to handle that. I think he's got a playmaker's knack. And the other thing I'll say is, you know, I was talking about home run swings with Willis yesterday or anything like that. I never once said anything, but I thought Kenny Pickett was going to be a solid NFL quarterback. And maybe it's because I had to call an health insurance company yesterday. But I was thinking of this in tiers. Bronze tier is Andy Dalton. He won division titles, got betrayed by the team around him at times, losing their minds. Silver tier, Derek Carr. Gold tier, very few guys get to gold tier, is Joe Burrow. But I think he can be in that Carr area, and he might be able to get to that Burrow level. The other thing I would say is this. Ultimately, when you're an NFL team, and anybody that studies the draft will tell you this, whether they like the pick or not, they say a team has got to go by what's in their gut. And if they need a quarterback, and the Steelers do, and he's their guy, you've got to take him. Whether you think there's a guy that's a quote-unquote better value on the board, you have to take him. About the only thing I might quibble with is that could they have moved down a couple of spots and still snagged them?
How do you live with yourself if you move down and somebody else jumps ahead of you and takes them?
And that's the calculus they had to weigh. It's one thing is like very obvious. You got it wrong. I got it wrong. Don Football got this wrong. Most everyone got this wrong. He was far and away, very clearly, their number one quarterback. Because you just said it yesterday. The little hints. Oh, they liked a guy who played in the bowl game who competed. Well, he didn't play in his bowl game because he was getting ready for the pros. And guess what?
Wise choice.
They picked him.
Yep.
What does that tell you?
That they liked him more than Willis, that they didn't have a tie to break.
Not that they liked him more than Willis or Corral or Ritter, although Ritter, again, being in the college football playoff was different. They liked him a lot more because if that was such a big deal to them, they liked him a lot more. And you know what trait actually mattered the most? What Colbert said all along, accuracy. Because what did you hear Mike Tomlin say in that video, that little clip? Accuracy. NFL accuracy. He throws into windows.
Yeah, that's the first time I've heard Tomlin harp on the accuracy thing, but I'm happy that he's come around to that because he usually is a mobility guy, and then earlier in the week he was talking about intangible qualities. Accurate, pocket presence, those things withstand the test of time, no matter what flavor of the month it is or what evolutionary turn the NFL takes. If you're accurate, and you know when to get rid of the ball, you can be an effective quarterback. And Kenny Pickett has shown that he can do that. I think this is a perfect scenario for him. There's a comfort factor because he knows the offensive coordinator here. He knows the city. They know him. It should work.
They've tried to build the infrastructure around him. They're trying to make their line better. I think they're going to try to get him a receiver today. They have Najee Harris. I have one more thing. Can I offer something? Just a couple scouting thoughts on him. Off the charts football IQ and intangibles. Plays with brazen, that's a good thing, field presence and poise. You agree with this so far?
Is this just my scouting report?
No, this is like a scouting report I printed out here.
Because I would just have said the same things about him.
Very good timing and anticipation.
Yes, we know all this to be true.
Just wait. Just let me finish. Throws pass catchers away from coverage and into space. Throws with superb touch and trusts receivers to make the play. Okay? These are all things you
all great qualities and
now,
all things I've seen from Pickett.
Now, I'm going to give you a weakness or two just to give you both sides, Pony. Had polar opposite back-to-back seasons.
Like I'm fine with that.
Okay? Below average arm strength and average release quickness. Okay? Early issues handling Clemson's disguised blitz packages. Okay? You ready? One more. And took sacks he didn't need to. I just read Joe Burrow's scouting report on NFL.com.
Oh.
What's the point I'm trying to make? A lot of the same things people were knocking one of the best quarterbacks in the league for, you can apply the exact same way, good and bad, to Kenny.
And I was saying that yesterday. I've been talking about that till the cows. When do they come home?
Was that an effective thing I just did there, the blind item, or no?
But yes.
Don, do you like that horse?
You are playing to the perfect audience in me because I have said people gave Joe Burrow credit for having one great year. And people are knocking Kenny Pickett for the same exact thing. This weird anti-Pickett faction is trying to have it both ways. Oh, well, yeah, Burrow did do that, but Pickett can't. Really?
They also called Burrow the people's champ with a rags to riches story arc. Here's some of the actual strengths from Kenny's, because I printed this out too. Same people, NFL.com doing this. Jaw-dropping improvement across the board. Good
Isn't
size
that what
and
you
all
want?
the tools.
I mean,
passing scheme required full field reads, good recognition, potential to get even better at recalibrating reads, arm strength to push deep outs. Is that the gold standard NFL throw? The deep out? Like the one they always say, can you really be a quarterback?
So wait a minute,
this is about Kenny Pickett.
The blind scouting report you read me said that Joe Burrow had a below-average NFL arm?
The blind scouting...
That seems like it's been okay so far to me.
That's
he does okay with Jamar Chase.
That's my point.
Cincinnati's not exactly a dome or South Florida. Yeah, I feel
arm
great about it.
Talent to make off-platform throws, elusiveness to escape. Joe Burrow had a higher grade on him, but they do that little decimal number, right? His was like a 7. Pickett's is like a 640. The overall, like, out of 100 number, Burrow's was 87. Pickett's is 84. At no point, whether you wanted Willis or you wanted Pickett or what, I don't think anybody that was seriously, like, watching this and articulating their feelings ever said anything about Kenny Pickett was going to be a bust. Because if you are, you haven't been watching Kenny Pickett.
Kevin Colbert on what he liked about Pickett.
You watch him grow over the years, and sometimes we're more critical of the Pitt guys because we've watched them grow from freshmen on up. We get a little too critical at times. We talk about that, because some of the other kids, the other players, we catch them in their sophomore, junior year, and you don't get to see them quite as much. Kenny developed, obviously had a great senior year, and it was a good move for him to stay in school. Just talks and preaches about what you can do when you stay and continue to develop and turn into a first-round pick. Kenny's he's special, and he grew.
Kevin Colbert is talking about something that Steelers fans, I think, need to recognize. Do not nitpick this guy. Because you've seen him more than anyone else, there's nitpicking going on that, frankly, has not happened for any other prospect in the draft. And I agree with Colbert's overall sentiment. We're overly critical of guys like Kenny because we've watched them more. That's why I've defended, you've got a bias on Pickett because you've seen him play. You've gotten to know him. He was at Pitt. Well, so more information is a bad thing? I mean, what are you supposed to base your opinions on football players on? Like what you've read about a guy or a highlight? Or I don't know, having watched him play about 40 plus games.
We talked to a lot of people, and I think most people will say, in fact, I think everybody would say that scouts this for a living. Ultimately, the tape, relative to, you can't be putting it up against, I guess, the Bailey Zappi competition, right? But the tape is what speaks loudest. He has the best tape. Now, I talked yesterday about projectability and potential, and people get seduced by that. But you still are banking on one of those guys. Hey, potentially he could do things that make your jaw drop. I saw Kenny Pickett actually do things that made my jaw drop. Namely, take a Pitt program that I had been used to being in kind of the above average but never great mode.
Yep.
To that height this year.
He elevated
watch him
Pitt.
make all the throws. He made throws against Clemson that has a corner that maybe should have gone in the first round, that has an NFL-level defense in terms of the talent that
and frankly, he only had one guy who will definitely play in the NFL, and that's Addison, and that's it.
And remember that game, too. I know you do. Clemson kind of punched them in the mouth physically at first, and Pitt had to hang in there.
And it wasn't good weather either, which is anher thing.
It was wet. It was cooler out. And the throw he made on the run for a touchdown was a dime. He never panicked. When they got him into some good situations, he threw dimes. And then he closed the show with his legs with a will play.
I am so happy to have you on board, to have you firmly entrenched.
I was never not on board with Kenny.
You were looking around and you were weighing other options. I never dated. I was in a firm, committed relationship with Kenny Pickett all along.
I think that means I appreciate him more than you, because I have looked around at what's out there and I came back to Kenny.
And I'm fine with that. I'm not going to judge you for that at all. You've come back around. You're back where you started, back with me, back when we were guys, when we were dudes being buddies and dudes being dudes with Kenny back in September doing a show with him. We never dreamed that it would get to this. We started talking to Kenny Pickett once a week in September. Never in my wildest imagination that I think a few months later we'd be talking about Kenny Pickett, first-round pick, Steelers quarterback.
I was to that end, I was again genuinely shocked.
And so am I. I thought he was really his junior year, like a borderline college football ACC starting quarterback.
You said he wasn't good. You can say it. You tweeted it out.
But
he was at the time. He was struggling badly.
That proves that this idea that he has this ceiling on him that he can't overcome, that he's boxed in. He showed in college that he can make massive strides. So why can't he do that now with the Steelers at the next level? I believe he can. I think this is the type of pick. I believe, Chris, that he will win championships here, that he will go to Pro Bowls. He will compete for all pros and
you just
MVPs.
Said championships plural, I realize.
I think he will win titles.
You're talking
here, yes.
Super Bowls.
Yes, I do.
Not AFC championships. We're not hanging banners for AFC North titles.
I think
you're talking titles.
I think he will win more playoff games as a starting quarterback than Lamar Jackson will in Baltimore. I think that
he's going to have to if he wants to win the Super Bowl.
I think that the Browns will probably find a way to screw up the Deshaun Watson thing, and I think we have a quarterback in a way of playing that will give the Bengals a run for their money with Joe Burrow. I'm not going to sit here and disparage Joe Burrow when I just said that best case scenario, Kenny Pickett turns into him. But we've got a guy now that we can throw out there and say, all right, we feel good about this situation. We got our guy. You got your guy. Let's roll. Let's do this. So I'm feeling great. How about you, Donnie? Have you come down yet? Did you sleep last night? You still drunk? What do we got here?
I
got wing sauce on your brow?
No, I cleaned up. I slept a little bit. But,
listen to his voice.
Yeah, you sound
can just
like
hear
absolute
it.
crap.
I'm hoarse.
You like that?
I'm very hoarse.
You like that horse?
I mean, it brought the house down. Like the exact definition of bring the house down.
Do you guys think I screwed up by looking myself on Twitter and finding out before it got announced? Did I screw up the moment a little bit? For myself, because I knew before Franco said it, I knew that it was Kenny.
I purposefully stayed off Twitter.
So did I. I did the same exact thing.
But I got the little jolt of a buzz from seeing that at Pitt football tweet and going, "Oh my God! They're not sending this out there for no reason for pick 21. That's New England."
Mm-hmm.
There was that building realization. This is actually happening.
I think winning Super Bowls and winning big playoff games are the apex. That's really as good as it gets as a fan, getting to share those moments with family and friends. I think for me, this is the next best thing. I think that realization when you're sitting there and you've got an unclear future at the sport's most important position. And if you're like me, and if you're like the Steelers now agree with Andrew Filippone. They really never believed in Mason Rudolph.
Here's the pop he's giving himself, Donnie.
No, I'm not. They proved last night, like I've said all along, that they don't actually believe in mediocre Mason. They proved last night, like I've said all along, that Mitch Trubisky really is not this diamond in the rough, another man's trash is our treasure quarterback. They proved that with this pick. And they proved, like I have felt all along, like Kenny Pickett can be a franchise savior.